A new, less complex law on gang-related killings is needed to ensure justice for victims and defendants, according to MPs. The current legislation, which is 300 years old, means someone could be jailed for life for being part of a group responsible for murder, even if they didn't carry out the killing. Here's our Home Affairs correspondent, Guy Smith.
The latest and most high-profile example of joint enterprise, with Stephen Lawrence's family finally receiving some justice. Earlier this month, 2 men were jailed for killing him, although there was no evidence they stabbed the teenager. Under the 300-year-old law, groups or gangs can be charged with murder, even if just one person delivered the fatal blow. And that's what happened in another South London case. This teenage girl lured Shakailas Townsend to his death in July 2008. She pretended to like him, but in fact was setting him up to be killed. 7 defendants were convicted and jailed for his murder.
There were several people involved, and each person played their part, which led to the death of my son. And I'm grateful that the joint enterprise law was there to convict those people.
Joint enterprise applies to almost all crimes, but for murder, the test is whether a member of the group could foresee that another member might either kill or inflict really serious harm. The Met Police has released a series of videos on YouTube and Facebook to explain the legal principle to young people at risk of being sucked into gangs. But for some people, it's complex and confusing for juries. Gloria Morrison is a campaigner to change the law. Her son's best friend, Ken Alexander, was involved in a fight.
He tried to stop, he put his hands up, he turned his back, he's hit over the head with a belt and knocked unconscious to the floor, when then his friends have come out and the fight has continued and somebody has been stabbed. Ken's unconscious on the floor, but he's now serving a life sentence for murder, even though he didn't have a knife.
MPs are now calling for a new and clearer law on joint enterprise. Meanwhile, guidance on the level of involvement needed for a murder charge is expected to be published soon. Guy Smith, BBC London News.
The number of Londoners without jobs has stayed